The Willow Creek Library smelled of old paper and beeswax polish, a comforting aroma that whispered stories of generations past. Dust motes danced in the afternoon sunlight, streaming through the tall, arched windows, swirling above rows of books that had been cherished and read by countless hands. The old cast-iron radiator in the corner clanked and hissed, battling the February chill that pressed against the glass, eager to sneak inside. Outside, bare branches scratched at the overcast sky, and Main Street was quiet, save for the occasional pickup truck, its tires crunching on the salted roads from the previous night's snowfall. Evelyn Reed had been the librarian here for 22 years, and she knew every creak in the floorboards, every wobble of the book cart wheels, every patron's literary tastes by heart. At 57, her salt and pepper hair was always neatly pulled back into a bun, and her reading glasses dangled from a silver chain around her neck, like a badge of honor. She lived alone in a cozy apartment above the general store, ever since her husband Thomas passed 4 years ago. And most nights she drifted off to sleep to the sound of her own breathing, and the gentle tick-tock of the mantel clock he had given her on their 30th anniversary. The library wasn't just a job for Evelyn anymore. It was her reason to rise each morning, her extended family. Her entire world distilled into 15,000 books, and the quiet souls who came seeking knowledge within their pages. Before we go any further, if you believe in acts of kindness, second chances, and the extraordinary power of strangers helping strangers, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. And let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Because stories like this remind us that sometimes, the person you least expect can become your greatest blessing. The front door swung open with such force that Evelyn startled, jumping back from the reference desk, her heart pounding in her chest. Standing in the doorway was a mountain of a man. He had to duck his head to enter. His broad shoulders nearly filled the entire frame. A black leather vest covered his immense chest, and Evelyn recognized the iconic red and white patches that everyone knew meant Hell's Angels. Tattoos snaked up his neck and across his knuckles, and his face was etched with an expression that could curdle milk. Every instinct in Evelyn screamed at her to run, to hide, to call 911. But then, he looked into his eyes. They were bloodshot and glistening, and his hands that looked capable of crushing stone, were trembling. "Please," he said, his voice cracking like thin ice. "I need help finding someone. My daughter. She ran away 3 days ago. She's only 16. The police have given up. They said she probably doesn't want to be found, but I can't stop. I won't stop." Evelyn gazed at this towering man, this Hell's Angel that society had conditioned her to fear, and she saw something completely different. She saw a father, a desperate, terrified father who would brave hell itself to find his child. Without a word, he pulled out a chair. "Sit down," she said gently. "Tell me everything. Start from the beginning." His name was Richard, though everyone called him Bear, for the next 5 hours. Evelyn sat with him at her computer. She scoured social media accounts, cross-referenced his daughter's friends' posts, called in favors from librarians in neighboring counties, utilizing skills she had honed over 2 decades of helping people unearth information that seemed virtually impossible to locate. Bear told her about his daughter Sarah, about the argument they had over a boy she was seeing, about the harsh words he regretted the moment they left his lips. He wept twice, turning his head away in shame each time, and Evelyn simply handed him tissues without a word. At 9:47 that night, Evelyn found a post. A friend of a friend had spotted a girl matching Sarah's description at a bus station in Columbus. Evelyn made 2 quick phone calls, confirmed the sighting, and within the hour, Bear was on his way. He embraced Evelyn before he left, this colossal man enveloping this petite librarian as if she were made of spun glass. "Thank you," he whispered. "You're the only one who treated me like a person." Evelyn patted his leather-clad back. "Just bring her home," she said. 3 weeks later, Evelyn was locking up the library on a Saturday evening when she heard it. A rumble. Low at first, like distant thunder rumbling across the plains. But it grew louder, closer, until the windows vibrated in their frames and the books trembled on their shelves. She stepped outside, and her breath caught in her throat. Motorcycles, 150 of them at least, maybe more. Stretching down Main Street and around the bend onto Elm Street, chrome gleaming in the streetlights, leather vests emblazoned with patches, and at the front, Bear, with a teenage girl sitting on the back of his bike, her arms wrapped tightly around her father. They had found her. They had brought her home. Bear dismounted his bike and approached Evelyn, and beside him stood Sarah, tears streaming down her young face. "This woman," Bear announced, his voice booming over the idling engines. "This woman spent 5 hours helping a stranger she had every reason to fear. She didn't judge me. She didn't turn me away. She saw a father looking for his child, and she gave everything she had to help." What happened next would be legendary in Willow Creek for generations to come. The Hells Angels had done their homework. They knew the library was falling into disrepair. They knew the roof leaked. The heating system was antiquated, and the town board had rejected funding for renovations 6 times in the last 10 years. They knew Evelyn had been purchasing new books with her own money because the budget was simply insufficient, and they had come to change all of it. For the next 2 months, teams of bikers rotated through Willow Creek. They replaced the entire roof. They installed a state-of-the-art heating system. They repainted every wall, refinished the hardwood floors, and built new shelving units that could accommodate twice as many books. The women of the club organized a book drive, resulting in over 3,000 donations. Someone established a trust fund for the library's future needs. On the day they finished, Bear pressed an envelope into Evelyn's hands. Inside was a check that would cover her rent for an entire year, and a heartfelt letter of gratitude signed by Sarah herself. Evelyn tried to return it, tears streaming down her face. "I was just doing what anyone would do," she whispered. Bear shook his head slowly, placing a weathered hand on her shoulder. "No," he said softly. "You did what everyone should do, but you're the only one who actually did it. That makes you family, and our family takes care of its own." He leaned closer. "If you ever need anything at all, you know who to call. The door is always open. And before we end, we have one special request for you. Comment below with the words "Una." Kindness finds a way to show that you stand with Evelyn. Because this story teaches us something powerful. It teaches us that when you look past the leather, past the tattoos, past everything the world tells you to fear, you might just find a father who loves his daughter, a community that protects its own with fierce loyalty, and a simple truth. A truth that changes everything. Kindness is never wasted. It is never forgotten. And it always finds its way back to you. Multiplied. Like, share, and subscribe if you believe that even the smallest act of compassion can start a ripple that changes the world. Because Evelyn Reed learned something in that Willow Creek library. She learned that family isn't about blood or background. It's about who shows up, who really shows up when you need them the most.